Hi guys, welcome again to Proving the Markets. Today we're going to be going through our watch list to see what's happening in the Forex market for next week. Now, most of the currency pairs which we love to trade, the dollar-based pairs and the JPYs, as well as a couple of crypto pairs have committed. So you guys know that I love to trade when the market tells me it's ready. So I'll be going through my watch list now to show exactly what's happening in the Forex market. We'll go through this watch list and you will see how the market is unfolding for its next move. Now, the way I trade is the way institutional traders trade, and that's the way I would love you guys to trade. Because if you see the market the way the institutional traders see them, trading becomes easier and you will have less problems when trading. So without wasting much time, let's get into the video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. Now, let's go. So we'll start from the first one, Euro USD. Now, I usually start my analysis from the highest time frame. So in this case, we'll start from the monthly time frame. Euro USD on the monthly time frame is bullish. Now, if you come to the monthly time frame, you can see that most of our levels have been drawn. If you want to understand how I draw these levels, I've left a free resource in the description of this video, and that's a link to a free Forex Masterclass where I teach you guys exactly how to dissect this market and trade it the way I do, and then make money for yourselves. Now, the link to the Masterclass is in the description of this video. Go and watch it at the end of this video. Now, Euro USD is bullish, and how do we know that? Quickly, we had a trend line right about here. Now, this trend line got broken here. So by the time we broke out of the trend line, as at this point, USD became bullish. Now, not only that, if you come over to the weekly time frame, you will see that we have this major level, which is these beige colored zones. So there are a couple of them which you can see here. So these beige colored zones are the key levels. So how we intend to trade for these pairs is we always want the market to commit first and we'll follow it all the way. So what has Euro USD done? You can see here that 2 weeks ago ended with a full bullish weekly candle break above the major zone. Now, when Euro USD committed like this, I knew for sure that Euro USD is going to soar to the upside. And how the market moves from zone to zone. If you can position your trades such that you're trading from one zone to the next zone, you're going to make a lot of money from this market. You'll be compounding your profits as the market is trending, because the best time to actually trade from zone to zone is if the market is trending. Now, having done that, I knew that USD was going to come to this next monthly level right about here. But you can see clearly that it got to this level here and started going to the downside. And how I love to trade is I love the market to commit first and then pull back. Because once the market pulls back and holds at those monthly levels, then we know for sure that the market wants to continue to move in its intended direction, in this case, along with the trend. Now, it's got here, it's got into this monthly zone quite convincingly, like so. So the market has gotten here. I'm quite convinced about this move on Euro USD. All I'll be waiting is for the market to hold here, just like it's doing right about now, and give us a setup. We've not found the setup yet. Ideally, I make my analysis on the high time frames and then take the bias I've gotten from the high time frame and come over to my entry time frame, in this case the 4-hour time frame. So it's only on the 4-hour time frames that I execute my trade. So now Euro USD has held around here. I will be waiting for setups. So just quickly go over to the 4 hours. I'll be waiting for my setup to emerge somewhere around here, and once the setup emerges, it's going to happen next week, and once it emerges, I'll be entering into this trade, and this is how I intend to line up for Euro USD. So I'm going to ensure that I take my trade all the way up. So best, I'm not going to get anything less than a 1:3 risk reward on this trade. So this is how I intend to line up for Euro USD. Euro USD has done quite well, and it's one of the pairs I'll be most interested in trading next week because we're all about profits, and Euro USD is poised to give us that. Now, that's about Euro USD. Quickly, let's go over to the next pair, GBP USD. Now, in the case of GBP USD, I'm going to show you quickly what GBP USD is doing in high time frames, and then quickly show you the traps that have been laid out for GBP USD. So first and foremost, on the high time frame, GBP USD is bullish, just like Euro USD. Now, GBP USD is bullish, and we've gotten to this level right around here. So GBP USD got to this level and created this pin bar. Now, you can see a pin bar has formed here on GBP USD, and when this happened, I knew for sure that GBP USD is going to have issues continuing its bullish trend. And when this happened, I'm seeing it on the charts. Like, if you know how to read price action the way I read it, then you know for sure what the market is telling you and avoid some small traps, because this thing just essentially means that there is selling pressure. We had a break above it initially, but you can see that selling activity was more right around here and selling pressure prevailed. Now in the daily time frame, you will see for sure how this played out. You can see that the market broke, was a nice daily candle break above it, but it didn't sustain right about there, and the market continued to tank to the downside. Now, this is what happened. So I'm just going to play it back. First and foremost, a lot of traders try to trade this break. If you try to trade this break, it's going to be bad because you will not know how to place your stop loss. How do you intend to place your stop loss in this type of trade? Understand, even if you are a day trader, you are likely going to use the lower time frames like the 1 hour or the 15 minutes to get into your trades. But what I'm saying in essence is, if you want to trade profitably from zone to zone, you should always wait for a retest, and this market didn't give a good retest upon this break. Now we have begun to, so I'm just going to clear this now. Now after we pulled back right about here, traders were still trying to force buy trades at this position right about here. You don't force a buy trade here. You wait for the market to tell you that it's ready to move. And the only way you can do that is to have your entries on point. Now, this video is not talking about entries because anything about entries is proprietary to the PAQ Pro trading system, which you can find as a resource in the description of this video. It's called Price Action Quick Start. So the Price Action Quick Start will tell you exactly when to enter this trade and then write this trend, so you will not have yourself messed up, because it pains to see traders trying to force trades at levels. Even though the market has broken above and is retesting the level, you should wait for a confirmation. There's a confirmation to tell you that this market is ready to move. If you don't know that, you'll be gambling, and you'll be gambling away your time and your money. So a lot of traders got stuck here and then had a lot of losses here. Now for GBPUSD, what's my intended move for GBPUSD? Simple. All I'll be waiting for GBPUSD without wasting so much time, because this is how I love to trade. All I wait for GBPUSD is to come back above this zone and hold above this zone, and then retest it again a second time. I'll be willing to take GBPUSD to the upside. Now, GBPUSD can do this. It does this most of the time, just like most other currency pairs. This is basically how price moves. Now, if it does give us this setup, most likely it will. We'll trade the trade. If it doesn't, we don't take the trade. As simple as that. You must not trade every currency pair, and you must not trade every setup. So that's GBPUSD, and that's my take on GBPUSD. GBPUSD is bullish. However, we have broken below structure. We need GBPUSD to come back above here and hold, and then give us a setup which will trade to the upside. Now that's GBPUSD. The next pair we're looking at quickly on our watch list is gold. Now, you guys can remember the last trade I took on gold, where we took our trade somewhere around here and rode gold straight to the upside. Now, if you want to see the evidence of this and the trade we took about this, I've documented it in previous videos. I'm going to put a link of it in the description of this video so that you can see exactly how we predict this market and ride it all the way. We've done that to not only gold, we've done that to oil, we've done that to Euro USD and a couple of other currency pairs which we love to trade. Now gold has made this move again to the upside, just like it did the previous time, and got to its highest point right about here and has begun to retrace to the downside. Now this retracement which you see here, this pullback is different from this pullback. Now this pullback is different, and it poses a lot more problems on how to get into a continued trade to the upside. Now why it's different is because of the base. So see the base of this pullback and then check out the base of this pullback. You can see that it doesn't correlate very well, and it's difficult to get into trades from here. I know this because I've been trading this market the longest. So even if you come over to the 4-hour time frames, you see that you can get a good entry point, and don't even goad yourself into thinking that you can trade off these type of setups like this, thinking that it's going to take you all the way to the upside, because let's assume that this market can do this, and then the SEC is that it's going to come back down. And another thing about gold is that gold currently is overbought. So start expecting more and more retracements to the downside for gold. So gold for now is not giving me the vibes of a good trade or a good setup. I'll be watching it closely to see if we do have a setup for it eventually. So that's my take on gold. Quickly, the next pair I'll be looking at is Bitcoin. Now we made our predictions in Bitcoin in the past. I said then Bitcoin was trading around here. I said if Bitcoin breaks this level and holds, we're going to come all the way to this point, which is the 100% retracement, and eventually to $60,000 per coin. Bitcoin has done that and has gotten to this level right about here. There was a manipulation at this point which tampered with some of our trades. It's part of the game. but we're still able to see this Bitcoin trade to the downside as such. Now, how did we know that Bitcoin is going to drop? A simple market structure. So when the trend was taken out here, we knew for sure that Bitcoin is going to continue to tank to the downside, and any other further movement to the upside had been capped. And that's how to see the market, because that's how the institutions trade. Once you know how to read price action and you apply proper market structure analysis, you'll be able to take profitable trades, because you'll be trading along with what the market is saying and what the market is doing. So Bitcoin tanked all the way to the downside, has gotten to this level and has created this tweezer bottom. Now, this tweezer bottom just says it is that Bitcoin has a lot of probability of rallying to the upside. Now, I don't take these trades to the upside. All I'll be waiting is for a good retest right about here. So if the market comes and holds here, then I'll be taking more sales on Bitcoin to the downside. But until that happens, for now, I don't have any setups on Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently might still rally to the upside, but I won't be trading Bitcoin for now until we see what the market wants to do on that. So the next one we're looking at is GBP/JPY. So in the case of GBP/JPY, you can see that the market is bullish, and it's also shown in the higher time frame. So if you come over to the monthly time frame, which is where we love to start our analysis from, you can see that GBP/JPY has been bullish for a while now. Now we've gotten to a monthly level right around here. Just like I told you, anytime the market gets to a monthly level, there are two things. We are going to expect a breakout above that level, or the market might form, in hindsight, it might form a chart pattern either in the daily or the weekly time frame that will see that trend to the reverse direction. So in this case, might want to tank GBP/JPY to the downside, but we don't see anything like such. Actually, we're seeing a weekly candle break above this currently on GBP/JPY. So that shows that GBP/JPY might still be having more inclinations to the upside. Now, if we come over to the daily time frame, we will see that the market did try to create, or is still doing that. The market is trying to create a triple top. So in this case, so this triple top now is trying to show us that the market might actually be trying to create this chart pattern to see GBP/JPY to the downside. But I'm not too convinced about this formation, to be very honest with you guys. GBP/JPY might just break above this zone and then still continue to move to the upside and eventually hit this black line right around here. So this black line is the 223.517 level, and that level signifies a weekly level in the past. So for GBP/JPY, we are bullish and we are going to have more inclinations to the upside in the coming weeks. However, the market is still committing itself in that direction, and I'll be coming back to review GBP/JPY in a week or two to see if it's committed, just like our other pairs. So the commitment which I win is the market breaks above a major level and then comes back to that level to retest it. Now, once it comes back to that level to retest it, essentially the break and retest strategy. We wait for our setup and we get into the trade. That's how we love to trade, and that's how to take profitable trades. So that's GBP/JPY. The next pair we're looking at is GBP/NZD. Quickly, GBP/NZD on the weekly time frame, we can see that initially GBP/NZD was bullish, and then we got to a major level, and then we started to retrace to the downside. We not only started to retrace, we actually created this. Now looks like a triple top. Now, with this being the neckline, we broke below the neckline. Not only did we break below that neckline, we can see that this trend line, which has been seeing GBP/NZD to the upside, was also broken right around here. Now, that trend line, if we go over to the daily time frame, you can see that trend line break also coincided with the level, with a daily level, which is this black line right around here. So after the market broke up below that trend line and also broke the daily zone, we continue to have further movements to the downside, which just shows that price action does not lie. Once we break a major trend line and a major key level, the market most likely will continue to move in the direction of the break. Now, in the 4-hour level, you can see that GBP/NZD has just kept on rolling to the downside. The next target for GBP/NZD is at this zone right about here, which is the green zone or the weekly level. However, we've not gotten a good setup to trade this pair. I'm going to be very honest with you. So GBP/NZD hasn't given us the best setups, and I'll just be looking at it to see if we eventually get a setup to trade for GBP/NZD. For now, what's the take on GBP/NZD? We're bullish initially. Now we are medium-term bearish. We're medium-term bearish because we are having moved to the downside, but still maintaining structure on the higher time frame. Because if you come over to the monthly time frame, you can see that we have this other trend line, which shows that it's still a far chase on GBP/USD, but it still shows that this market currently is still bullish, and that's it. So GBP/USD, that's my take on GBP/USD. The next pair, which is juicy to actually look at, is USD/CHF. Now USD/CHF had ranged around this zone right around here, and I had come here several times to analyze this pair and talk about the range and my intended direction for USD/CHF. And I was thinking that USD/CHF was going to break above this range to the upside. Like you can see, my simulation tool is still here, and I was expecting this break above. Instead, USD/CHF rather committed to the downside. Now it broke the range. Now, not only did it break the range, it also broke it in the direction in line with the overall direction. So this then means that USD/CHF wants to continue to move to the downside. Now, what I tell you guys that all I need first of all is commitment. So this is the daily time frame. USD/CHF committed after it broke here, after it broke the level here, and it broke below the range, which you can see, right? So it committed and has now begun to move back to the upside. Now all I'll be waiting for, so this is the 4-hour time frame, and this is the take on USD/CHF. All I'll be waiting for is for USD/CHF to continue to move to the upside like so, and then come right around here, somewhere around here, and hold. If it holds, we're not rushing into trades. We're not going to jump once it touches that level. If it comes to that level and holds and gives us our setup, then we'll be able to enter into this trade to the downside, and we'll be taking USD/CHF all the way to the downside. And let's see how many pips likely we're going to catch on that. So this movement to the downside will give us over 270 pips to the downside. So that's how I'll be looking at USD/CHF, and I don't know if it's going to happen next week, but that's my take on USD/CHF. If it gives us the setup the way we want it, we'll get into the trade and we'll make money from this market. So that's my take on USD/CHF. And quickly, let's go over to the last currency pair which we'll be looking at is NZD/USD. Now NZD/USD is showing pure price action and market structure at its finest. So we'll go over to the weekly time frame. You can see that NZD/USD has two trend lines. It's broken above this minor trend line, and then we're still below the major trend line. However, we first of all had a triple bottom right around here, and then we also come back to retest this level, right? So not only have we done that, we've broken above this weekly level and also broken above this intervening daily level. Now you can see how these levels are all lined up. We've got some of them that are beige colored, some of them are green, some of them are yellow. These are key levels. These help you to make decisions in the market. That's why I said if you don't have your key levels on point, you are going to find it very difficult trading this market, because essentially the market trades from levels to levels, from zones to zones. So you need to have all your zones mapped out from the highest time frame, in this case the monthly time frame, to the weekly time frame, to the daily time frame, to the 4-hour time frame. And that's how you take trades. And I'm going to say it again, the only way to get this is to know exactly how to plot it correctly, and it's all in the price action quick start. But one, I show you guys exactly how to plot it the right way so you don't get into issues with your trading. Now we've broken above this weekly level and we're broken above the daily level. All I'll be needing for NZD/USD is simple. So we're in the daily time frame. All I need for NZD/USD is to still pull back to this zone right around here. Once it pulls back to this zone and holds and gives us a setup, we'll scale over to a 4-hour time frame and take the trade. And NZD/USD, from what I'm seeing, from my analysis, NZD/USD is likely coming back all the way here. So we're heading back to this monthly zone right about here. And if we check how many pips that is, that's going to give us over 370 pips. So NZD/USD is likely going to do that. I'm going to be waiting, and that's it. So that's it on our watch list for today, and how we are going to be positioning for next week once the pairs which we're looking at or which we've looked at plays out. And if you want to place your trades in line with what the market is actually doing, do make sure to follow me all the time on this channel so that you can see these updates as I bring them, and position yourselves in the best possible way to take good trades. Don't forget to join the masterclass so that you can learn to trade exactly like this and then make real money while trading, and enjoy it whilst you're at it. So that's my time now. See you in my next video.